So we have a lot of new faces. I know Carol and Lauren are two of those people. So part of today is wanting to show around the community because ironically, in the 3 months that we've been doing this, we've added a lot. And so I just give people a sense of what is there, but also I'm sure all of you guys that are in the community can kind of testify. You just take on one tool at a time. And so it's all there, but like anything, would just pick one thing. And I know Jackie has some great advice on how she approaches that. So let me share my screen and let me find the school. All right. All right. So I'll start with just a tour around the school. So when you join, this area is kind of where we have our ongoing conversation. Anything that you want to ask, you can get help. We also have some categories. We love celebrating wins and hearing what's working. And so you'll see as you go down different things that people shared. Also, like yesterday, we had a new class. And so I work to try to make it easy for you to find it, but I'll show you where all those are. They live in the same place. And really, again, the reminder of why I started this was that I believe the future belongs to relationship-oriented realtors who are not necessarily tech savvy, but they need to use AI to do the boring stuff, do the things that free them up for those connections and better communication. And so we're really focused not on shiny objects, but on what is going to move the needle and impact our business. And you'll get to hear from some of the members today on where they are on the tech, like are they techie or not? How hard was it? And what's their experience been? So the classroom is where everything lives. Um, you're going to every Monday from 11 to 12, we have a call and it's really ask me anything the group's talking about. Typically, though, if we've just had a class on something, people will say, "Hey, could you go over this or could you do mine?" It's just really custom to what you want. And the idea is we don't want people to get stuck. And I would say, and even the group here can even say in the comments, but I mean, I think some of the best calls have been when people kind of voice that they feel a little overwhelmed and they just need help. And I remember Eileen saying, "Well, I don't want to waste everyone's time." And we're all like, "No, that's why we're here. This is what we do, and we all learn every time we're doing it." So I always give the replay and the transcript. And the reason that's important is as you start to build things, the transcript will allow you to build things in Notebook LM eventually to be able to search and get the answer you want without having to go through all this. So you can see there's a lot of calls. But if you look at last Monday, what we did is we're doing work on how to have AI cite you as the authority. And we went through two people's um, transactions, their leadership, their community involvement, really narrowed down what they wanted to specialize and be a focus on. If you think about it, we talk about, what's the 70%? You're still the 30% is going to be your referrals. It's going to be, Uncle Bob's nephew buying his first house. All those things are still going to happen. But what are we going to create content about? Because we live in a term paper world now where AI goes, "Oh, yeah, Carol knows about this. Jackie knows about condos on the Space Coast and helping sellers." So that's what's in the, so go to the classroom any Monday. You don't have to worry if you make it or not. They're all recorded and you can come listen at your leisure. One of my favorite tips is listening to stuff in the car when I'm driving because as realtors, we listen, we're on the road a lot. Then you'll see every month we have two classes that are 2 hours long that are about, a strategy or a foundational element in your business. So we're always moving the ball forward. And so those things are like, again, one month it was about with Mark, he does all of our image stuff. And what you get when we do a class is you'll get the link to we name them because we believe these are our assistants. If it wasn't AI, it would be somebody in the Philippines for many of us, right? So it's like to get out of our own way and realize, hey, you're the CEO of your business. Let's talk about how these people can offload and free you up to do what you do well. It'll have the replay. And then we have a resource document every time. And so here, just to give you an idea, is um, that same information that goes through all the different things that Mark can do and ideas about, here's 12 rules that he follows. What are your brand colors? How to create 3D avatars, how to create an AI twin. So you can see, I mean, there's hundreds of pages here. So it's not, there's a lot there. But what we do with the Mondays and the Ask Me Anythings like today is we're going to show you, Carol just joined this week. We're going to optimize one of her listings in minutes. So what I want you to feel comfortable with is I work to build all the knowledge in here to make it easy for you to just tell your assistant what you want to do. So let me go back to the school. Um, again, try to give a little summary on each one of what we're covering. So if you're like, oh, what do I want to dive into? Um, this here under Team of Specialists, I just updated it last night. So when we started, we had 6 assistants. And you guys might have seen, and in the link in the chat, and if somebody else reposted as we get people in, the AI that's easy. Right now, the cost to join our group and the investment is $79, or you get 20% off if you pay for it annually. And that's going up to 147. And so what that really shows is we're building all the time. So those that were in here early, they didn't have all of these, right? We've been developing what's going to move that needle. And also we added a whole AI visibility where on the open market, people are charging like $2,500 a month to help people through that process. So each of these things, Vicky is usually where we tell people to start, in that it can help you do your brand voice that you're going to keep and use not only in ChatGPT, but you're going to use it in Claude or Perplexity or Gemini. And so it also gives you a lot of insight, to yourself and a snippet that you can use when you're trying to get a certain output. And ChatGPT starts to learn more about you depending. It's a little more structured. Many of us know that ChatGPT has a memory and it starts to learn us. But in there, I actually share a 15-minute video, which is about how long it takes to step through it. And it's me doing my own. Again, it just asks you questions, makes it easy. I feel a lot of times if you can just answer questions, it's a lot quicker than saying, hey, pull this together, pull that, whatever. So it's worked out really well and the feedback's been good. It also does more in helping you with your voice. One of our members, Debbie Kirkland, used it, a seller on a $1.8 million house, asked her to reduce her commission by 1%. So she worked on a response that she was going to give to the seller. And she went to Vicky and she's like, this is my response. What do you think? And it was it was beautiful. Vicky said, don't be defensive. Don't undercut yourself. It's like, here's what you should be saying. She worked with Vicky, went back to the seller with the response they created together, and the seller goes, let's go. So that's $18,000 that she made just by having the right words, the right positioning, and conveying the right message. Um, so each of those is in here. We have Linda, who creates local events. Ollie's a master at this. Um, Rosie is a GPT that helps us create video scripts and social media posts. And the latest version is defined to do it in a way that AI will cite it. Cora is a repurposer. That is really even good for other people's content. You might see an article or YouTube or different things, and you're trying to create content and pull some stuff out to pull together. And again, each one of these, you don't have to, you just click this to get access to them on your GPT, and they walk you through. So let me just do Rosie for a minute just to show you how easy. So you would just click, you're in ChatGPT and you say start. So this isn't hard to go, well, where do I get started? It's going to say choose one, video ideas, questions to research, etc. So it's very guided. All right. Then we have Larry, the lead magnet. And this is really helpful when we're talking about, again, as we do our social media, how do we continue the conversation? And he can easily help you step through what do you want? Do you want a checklist? Do you want a guide? Do you want something else? And so that's really helpful. Vivian is our virtual stager, but she's more than just placing furniture around a room. She's designed with designer and also buyer psychology. And what people in the group will share with you. I know I see Patty here, and she said, "Hey, I let my professional photographer not do this anymore. I do it." But I was paying somebody to do it, and I could only, if I had a eat-in kitchen and a living room, it would only let me stage one part. And I had the same furniture, like it was like six different styles, but always pretty much the same furniture. And I felt like, again, what we do and what I wanted for my clients was more than that. I don't know how many of you use Notebook LM, but it's super powerful. However, if you look at Notebook LM, um, if you just go into it like this, most people just do generic slides or infographics, and they don't really know how to harness the full power of it. We created Nick. And Nick allows you in ChatGPT to create the prompts because you can actually have 10,000 characters to tell your brand colors, brand it to you, exactly what you want on slides. So, this tool makes it very easy for you to get what you want, and then you just paste it over in Notebook LM. Lisa's kind of been the rock star. We I spent about 6 months studying AI and this how to get listings to show better and present better. Vivian and the images is a big part, but Lisa actually, most people don't know, Zillow has optimized first 150 characters, and really it's designed for mobile and search is changing. Right now, 60% of people that even search on Google never click. So the question is, how do we as realtors show our seller that we are getting them more exposure, more places? And so what we're going to do, one of Carol's listings this morning is by taking what you have, we optimize it. And again, I'll let the other people share about their results. But, one member that joined this week, he had a listing that had been on the market over a year. So think about that. Nobody, I mean, everybody that's wanted to see it has seen it. We went in and we used Vivian and we did the optimizer. And then within the next 5 days, he had 32% more people, more views than he had in the whole year, and 32% more saves. Now, I don't know, again, most people talk about how they start getting showings and it goes under, but we have designed in here under Lisa in the training scripts on how to have you show your seller three competitive advantages you're offering that other people aren't. And the kicker is that our listings are now being found in AI because they're written in a way. I showed you Mark, your creative director. And again, images, I made Mark because images seem to take a lot of time and be the bottleneck for me. And so, but they're also what stop the scroll. So this is a very powerful tool that does a lot of things. We'll be spending more time on it, but it is available there. And then we roll into the next three, which are all about being found on AI. So the first one is Alex. Alex is the one who takes everything about you, your past transactions, your your leadership, your community involvement, your previous work history, and helps define you in the most awesome way, but also helps you narrow down your focus. Because, like many of you, before I started doing this work a couple months ago, my bios would say, sells real estate in Tampa Bay, for instance. Well, AI will never cite me as that expert. So, then we went on to yesterday, we built and released Olivia. And Olivia is specifically designed for your LinkedIn profile to help you write the perfect optimized thing for every section, your headline, your about, your skills, and your experiences. So again, every step of the way, you could be doing everything right, but if you're not shooting at the right target, AI is not seeing you. And so then finally, all of those things go together for Atlas. And Atlas will now take whatever came up as your specialty here, you give it a 2 to 3 sentence of here's what I'm specializing in. It will give you a content wheel and it will create an image for you all in one step. So really, again, built it for myself to release that bottleneck um, every month. So in those for more detail, just so you see, this is the class we did last night. So already you have the resource guide, which we talk about everyone has. So you've got this can be loaded into Notebook LM, has the notes, has stuff about Olivia and Atlas, has the full transcript of 2 hours, 2.5 hours it ended up. But it's all there for you. Again, if you look real quickly in Lisa, you're going to see sometimes when I do extra stuff, I add it, right? So 5 minute script to explain it to your sellers, an email that I wrote to my sellers on how I have a competitive advantage for them. And then luxury people can think a little differently. And I know that. So I wrote that up for you guys as well. So that's kind of where we are. We keep building out as we go. And then the calendar every month, you just go out here. You can see every Monday we add other trainings or ask me anythings. You just go here, click it, and it's on your calendar. Easy to get. Um, and that's really it. The only other thing for people that are new is you are able to go out to your settings and change if you're getting too many notifications. So we'll cross that later. But what I want to do right now is I want to stop for a minute and sharing, and um, I'm going to pin the person. So raise your hand if you are currently in the group and could share a little bit about your experience. If you're techie, is this hard? Are you seeing results? So who wants to go first? Okay, Ollie, let me pin you just so I get you in the center here. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I am not techie. I don't see myself as techie. I'm more of a doer. This group, is not like any other. It's so much knowledge that's been shared. I first started off using for the virtual staging, and I can honestly say I love it. I save tons of money on my listing photos with not having to pay, anywhere from $125 up for per photo to have a room to have it virtually staged by a professional. Um, and you can, mark using him for twilight photos. It's just so much. I've noticed an increase on definitely using Lisa to optimize my listing descriptions because what you think that you're writing, and it tells you where you probably need to add more value to it that a buyer would find interesting. And it gives you a score, an actual score that you can screenshot the before you optimize it and then see the difference of after you optimizing. It's mind blowing that you see the number of saves, the increase in views to your listing.
Thank you. Let me figure out how to unpin you. Let me go over here and pin. I'm gonna add pin. Let me unpin you. Move pin. Okay, go ahead, Ant.
Hey everybody. My name is Ant. I'm up here in the Nifar area. Um, I just signed on like a couple weeks ago, and I think, hey Eric, I just signed on a couple weeks ago, and I'm still going through everything. I'm a tech person, but I don't have time to be a tech person. So I appreciate that Cindy provides us with scripts and videos and whatever learning style we have, and we can mirror and match. Because while she's going through the video, I'm also following along in her explanations in the doc. So. It plays out very well, and I appreciate that. My biggest contribution at this moment that I've used was Lisa for our listings, and it really changed my mindset on how we should be writing these. I thought we needed to create a whole Oprah Winfrey story, and we want to walk them through what their life would be like, and it's like, no, the heck with that. You don't need to do all that because we wanted to use the words that people are searching for. So I was very nervous because I used it on. I have over $1 million listing. And for some reason, I chose to use this for the first time ever, and I was stressing out. And the way it wrote, I was like, I'm trying to get out of what we are typically taught to what this is. And I just trusted Cindy, I trusted this process, and more importantly, I trusted Lisa. I used the way she wanted it to be done, and we are officially under contract after 1 week. And there are people in that community with me who have been on the market for several months and don't have anything. And obviously, the house has something to do with that, but I think that we got more calls from people outside of our area than I've ever gotten before. And I think that is because Lisa is targeting those words that random people are looking at outside of our area, and they're telling their agents, hey, like, get a hold of this people. So, big kudos to Lisa. I really appreciate that. And then changing my mindset on how we should be writing to optimize for a further reach than just our own MLS. So that's my, contribution to this story today.
Yay, that's such a great story. I hadn't even heard all the details. Let me pull up Patty and hold on, pause for me to unpin mute. Unpin. All right, go ahead, Patty.
I'm so happy that I was able to piggyback on what Ant just said because I had a lady that wanted me to list her house, and we kind of worked together for about 6 months. And then it was an over $1 million listing also. And she asked me to review, or she wanted to review the listing description, but she wanted, all the fluff. And I had a conversation with her that I had, been researching a lot about the latest and greatest in AI searchability and things like that online, and the importance of not being so fluffy, and that we need to, kind of fill our say the things that are more straightforward and meaningful to a buyer. And, because everybody might, the emotions can be very objective, and we need it to be more fact-based. So she yielded to me. She wasn't real excited, but she yielded, and we were under contract in 4 days. So she
That's
trusted the
awesome.
process, and she was able to go on her little vacation, come home, and everything be done for her. And yeah, so that was pretty exciting. Another thing that I really love is learning about Notebook LM. That tool is so important to me now because I can upload like if I have a condo, and the rules and the regulations and all the nuance that goes with every single one. Each property is so different. So I set up a little notebook for each condo or each listing, and I upload all the condo docs. And then I ask Notebook to go through and make a list of all of the things that a buyer would really want to know, especially pet policies and lease policies and all of that. And what's the fee and what's included, that type of thing. And it just pulls everything out and it's done. It's so convenient. And, then I cross-check it with other listings in the community to make sure I'm not missing anything, but, and of course, run it by the seller. But that tool is really something I want to continue using and find other ways to use it because it's very powerful. I don't have time to sit through and read details like that, and I'm sure I would miss half the things.
That's
Um,
great. And also, if you just talk to, I know when you first started optimizing your listings, we were
uh,
able to see them show up in AI. So again, you're able to show to the
right,
seller that you're extending the view and where people, because 67% of people are now starting searches in AI. And so you're
right.
there, right? Their listing is there.
exactly. So I really love it. So I know I'm just chipping away at the iceberg. So it's going to take me a long time to to understand all of it. So I signed up for a year.
Well, I love that mindset. And I also tell people that Patty came back and she said, I fired my professional photographer because I can do this so much
Uh-huh,
better.
uh-huh.
And and
Well,
and
I didn't fire him into,
oh,
100%,
in
but at
staging.
least
Yes,
for the
yes,
staging and because actually it came back and I was looking at their work and I'm like, oh, I this does not appeal to me at all. And so I took it into whatever
Vivian.
dear
Vivian.
Vivian. And wow, she really whipped it into shape. It looks amazing. Or
And
it did. The
yeah, it
property
does look,
sold now.
yeah, it's sold. So one final thing is I know because when we were first talking, right? Like honest, like I don't think you would call yourself techie. You're a relationship realtor that's been around, but so I just think a little feedback on has it been easy to implement? Yeah, there's a lot there and we have to take our time, but when you go to use it, are you finding
It's really simple. Like you said, you just type in start or just throw in the address of what you want to work on and it goes to town.
awesome? All right, thank you for
So,
that. Let me
thank
bring up
you.
somebody else. Yeah. Hold on a minute for me. I'm gonna pin Margarita and unpin Patty. Awesome. Go, Margarita.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone. How are you guys doing? It's good to see new faces. It's awesome. First of all, I have to say thank you to you guys, the community, and also Cindy. You guys have a lot of patience to help us. I'm not a techie person at all. I'm just social media for me was like, this thing, no, I don't like this. But with your patient and Cindy, especially you, I'm be able to start loving this and get into it. That there's a warning about that. You get into it and you continue working and you go, 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 go. And I'm like, okay, I need to stop. I have to do other things because I like to find out more in detail and I really enjoy. My friends lately being Lisa, the listing optimizer, as have helped us, Eric and I, to optimize our listings. And what I noticed is when we had that done that, we start getting more showings. However, it's a property's been sitting there after I did the listing optimizer, but we're not getting any offers. I run it again through listing optimizer and I see the difference that people start looking at the property again. So it's exciting, especially with the market that we have. There's a lot of out there. So we need to differentiate us with other realtors and other listings too. I have used Vivian, yeah, the virtual staging. I really like that one too. Helped me to some of my pictures to put it to the next level so can people see empty room and room with the furniture and that really calls their attention. In addition, I started working with Cindy too and Alex, the foundation, the AI foundation. I was in shock to see a lot of things that was developed on that one, and I'm still continue working with that so I can upload, excuse me, upgrade my my profile out there so people can start picking up who I am and decided let me contact her and work with her. I mean, what I have versus what Alex did is a huge difference. And I feel comfortable. I have ways to go. There's other ones I have not used that I'm looking forward to. However, one step at a time, I don't feel as overwhelmed or whelmed, like my coach says, regarding AI. And it's more comfortable, it's easier. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not techie and I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of things. So this is a facilitate my business a lot. And I like Cindy the idea that you're recording. So I'm sorry I missed the one last night. So now I have to go back and take a look because this has been an asset. It really does. So I appreciate you all. Thank you,
Me.
Cindy.
Awesome. Let me thank you, Margarita. Let me go to Petra and then Candy. I see you. Thank you. Go ahead, Petra.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Anyways, I love Cindy. Cindy is, I mean, her philosophy, I first of all, AI should never replace you. It should support you. It's an assistant. It's my assistant. I didn't fire. I let go of my social media company that I paid over $300 a month. And I says, well, I can do that in less time that they put out for me. So I love to do market reports. I love to do CMA. So yesterday, actually, I love the Notebook LM, which gives you so many tools in just in one setting, from CMAs through market reports. And I was found by a reporter recently because he found me on online, and I told him, "How did you find me?" He says, "Well, I used AI." I says, "Well, that's perfect. That's great." So he left my market reports, which I did through LM, Notebook LM, which I did previously on my own, just wrote down and with a little help with ChatGPT. But Notebook LM gives so much further in detail that I had never thought before. Um, Yesterday I was at I wouldn't call it a listing appointment. It was just a customer who was interested in maybe listing her house next year. But we went through all the details. She showed me a house. It has an ADU, which is great, and it's in a historic district in Lakeland. And after all the discussion, and I asked her, I says, "How did you find me?" And I always ask that question, "How do you find me?" And she says, "Well, I work for an AI company." I says, "Really? And what did you use?" I said, I use Claude. I says, "Claude, wow, that's interesting because Claude is, I mean, I've had used Claude before, but just recently oh, help me out, Cindy, with the
AI Visibility Lab we're
thank
working.
you, thank you." Exactly, because I said, well, Claude is, I just did a free, I mean, I used a free version of that, and she found me through Claude. And I says, well, it's interesting. I've been found. I tried to replicate what she had said. I couldn't get it, but she said I was number one. And number two was another gentleman that is has a very large community and team here in Lakeland, and she knows him too. And I says, well, I'm glad you picked me to come out there and talk to you about everything. And she says, I'm glad I found you because you have brought me so much insights of what other people wouldn't have thought of, what I could use the ADU for when I'm ready to sell. But again, Cindy, her guidance is beyond theory. She provides clear, actionable stages that real estate professional can immediately apply to the business. And because of her classes and support, like I said, I've been discovered by customers and reporters through my market reports and things like that. So thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think though you point out such a, and each one of you is, we called it Implementer Club for a reason
Yeah,
because sometimes people are so busy getting education, and at the end of the day, it's what we implement is going to make the difference.
right.
I mean, I could create whatever tools, but if you don't use them, then it didn't really make a difference. And so kudos to you for being an implementer and doing that. And again, I think when I look around this room, most people didn't, are not real techie, and yet you've done the AI twin really well. You've done, you've gone to each one of these things and go, okay, how can I do it in my business? And be patient enough with yourself to say, let me try it and then let's go. And I think the thing you are, such a good example of what we're going to do with AI visibility, which again, it's not an instantaneous thing like I'm going to be able to show with Lisa, but a month from now, when we're getting more and more calls like that, and other people are, I feel like in the industry, getting sold a bill of goods, right? I mean, I hear some coaches say, put 100 things of Petra's good and Petra's the best realtor in every neighborhood. And I personally, I feel like AI is going to figure that out. I'd rather us spend time
Right.
knowing what we're specialty in and sharing that, and being recognized for that, which you do such a great job. And I know probate and Lakeland, if you need anybody, Petra's a great person too. So, all right, let got a couple more people. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to go to Candy and then I'm going to go to Jackie. Go ahead, Candy.
Oh, Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you guys? With a little bit of a craziness going on. I don't know if you saw my baby, but so this is one of the reasons I'm so thankful for this group and for this community, and especially Cindy and all of the assistants. But I do have a 1 year old and a 4 year old, and crazy life. And after my pregnancies, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I realized later that, okay, maybe I've had that forever, but I have an issue with like shiny object syndrome. And I'm so thankful for the Implementer Club because it really keeps me on track. And I'm so organized, so much more organized with all of my listings, my buyers, everything. And um, just because we have everything right at our fingertips, I sound like a genius. I'm like got Cindy's brain right at my fingertips all of the time. So it's incredible, but it's just been a game changer. I had multiple listings that had been sitting for over a year. I'm closing on one of them today, and this house had a 3-story spiral staircase. And there was like no one looking at it until I optimized it. So it was incredible. So we're very, very thankful for that. And I have had a few. I had one listing that was in a Dior Horton resale neighborhood that had 53 other listings at the same time, and I got mine under contract first. So super thankful for Lisa. I love her. But honestly, all of the tools are incredible, and I use them all the time for different things. And it's funny because I'll just talk to them and ask questions if I don't know something, and then I'll be like, Cindy, did you know that they do this? And so I'm just learning so much. But I'm very thankful for how organized it's keeping me and keeping me on track with everything as well. So it's definitely a game changer. If you're on the fence, I would say that you will absolutely never regret joining.
Thank you.
Can I just add one more thing?
Yes. Hold on, Jackie. I'll come to you next. Go ahead. Go ahead, Patty.
You know, there are so many people that are after our money in this business. It's like we get hit up daily by different companies proposing to do things. This is like the only tool that I've actually been delighted with. Like there's a lot of tools out there, and I feel like this is it's like hiring an employee to sit down next to me and having a resource. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Great. All right, let me find Jackie. Miss Jackie, Miss Jackie, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Thank you, Cindy. I just wanted to share with the group. I started early with Cindy. I think it was back in January, and our list was significantly smaller of our team specialists at that time. And so it seemed overwhelming then. So I can only imagine if you're joining today what it feels like. But let me break it down for you the way that I attacked it because I'm not techie. And I really wanted to accomplish this AI. When Facebook came out and they said, do all these things, 20 years ago, I was not in for that. But when the AI revolution started, I could see our future in real estate. So I started out, and what I did is I made a date in my calendar. So I had a date with Lisa, and I put in an hour. And if I needed more time, I kept making my dates with Lisa. And then I kind of took it in pairs. So Lisa and Vivian, I call them best friends. So I got to know her best friend, Vivian, and I put the two together for my benefit. And I asked my girlfriends if they could help me with some listings. So the first thing I did, I was actually on a cruise, took my laptop, and I spent the cruise having dates with these two ladies. And what happened is 6 of my listings were optimized. And when I got off the cruise, within about a week to 10 days, 5 of those listings went under contract. It was really amazing to me. I continue to do that and continue to have great success. So I find that this product that Cindy has put together, that I am so thankful to have been a part of and will continue to be a part of, is my real estate toolbox. Everything is in one place. I go to the school, I look for what I need, and just take it from there. I continue to make dates with different of our team specialists, just like you would do an interview or talk to somebody to take care of your business. I do it the same way. I just treat it like it's, people out there that are there to help me develop my real estate business. And so I broke down the different ones. I can tell you that there's a few in here that I haven't had a coffee with yet, because I'm afraid of those things. Videos, I can't. I will, but I haven't. So let's just put it that way. I know it's there, and I'll work on that. But just this entire toolbox that Cindy has given us is amazing. So make a date, pick your battles. You don't have to try all of them at one time. I think that's the biggest thing is when I first saw it, I wanted to dig into all of them. And Cindy was very instrumental in saying, let's not add this and let's not add that. But all of us on this call were like, no, no, we want, we want, we want. And so Cindy delivered. And then it's a lot, but it's all there for you. And I don't think she's going to stop here. I think we're going to have a tremendous list and the next generation. Some of these team specialists have grown. And so we're on different versions already that made them even better. And I'm excited. And I would love to have more people come and join us and just take the benefit of what we all are getting. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Um, Candy, are you good? Your hand's up. I just want to make sure. Um, she talked about the charges to her. Uh, I think the things when you could look, the way I look at what I'm trying to balance for you guys is on the one hand, when we get a listing, how do we do an amazing job? One, that's how we get paid, but also that's how we get paid more. And then two is how do we create business and lead gen? Maybe we need more listings, more buyers. So all of these tools in my mind are how do we kind of do one or two or both of those things, right? Because that's really at the end of the day what keeps the engine going. We heard everybody talk a lot about Lisa. So if you guys are game, let's do Lisa. Carol is new to the group and asked about optimizing a listing. So we'll just show the people that are joining us how easy that is to do. I'm going to go over to the classroom. I'll go to Lisa. I'll click my link. Now, this is what it'll look like. But when you do these, if you push these three buttons, you can say keep it in your sidebar. I have to cycle because you only can keep whatever it is, 15 there, and I already have more than that there. But that's how you can keep these ones you're using all the time. So all you have to do is hit start. If Again, it's asking to provide all this information, but what I'm going to do, you could do it by hand. We're just going to take a customer profile out of Stellar's MLS. So what you would send a seller, I just downloaded and printed to PDF, and I'm just going to say, analyze this. Now I have a tool that I created. I called her Lola, that people outside of the community could pay $14.99 for each one to do it. If they were not part of the community. But in the community, the members have unlimited use of being able to do this for as much as they want. This one gives a little bit more information intentionally because, again, I want those of you in the community to understand more about what's going on as you're on your listing appointments and getting information. So the first thing it does, Carol, is it takes your top 150, and this is the part that is on Zillow and other places. If you look on mobile, it's the part you see before they say click to see more. And the key is the better that is, the more people will click to see more. It's important for a couple of reasons because Zillow has an algorithm in the first 72 hours because you want people to look at your listing. You can't sell it if they're not looking. So that's a big part. And then it lays out paragraphs in a certain way that it's designed to do to cover the different areas. And then when you get it, it'll tell you a character count. It'll say, well, these things are missing. The roof age, the AC age, the water heater age. I'm not saying you have to do them, but what I am saying is these things add to trust factors. And so it's going to give you a list of things to consider, right? And so if any of these you may look at it and go, oh, yeah, I'll put the HOA amount in there, I'll put the roof or, whatever. So, like you did put the HOA and the fees there and what it included, like that's a really good trust factor. So you go to there and you say, if let's just say you're happy with that, then you would say, diagnose it. It's going to compare this and give you a score from an AEO SEO perspective. And you're just going to go through and then you can decide if there's anything you want to tweak. So it's still telling you that it's not, okay, diagnostic. So now the buyer intent, who we're looking at is, again, you got the end unit sunroom is kind of picking up that it's, buyers are looking for that. The first 150 is a 9.4 out of 10. So it's giving you the feedback on that. So you're learning. It tells an opportunity. You could consider swapping the sunroom for an end unit for a higher search, depending on what you know about your market. Again, you're always the expert. It's talking about the kinds of things that AEO questions are answered. Um, it's saying that the HOA, what it includes, could be earlier or partially answered. Can you rent it? So again, these are nuances. 9.4 is pretty darn good. I'm going to show you what it was when you put when with what you have. Then it's talking about even still with SEO, condominium in Sarasota, Palmer Ranch, like you didn't stuff it, but those are some things. Tells the trust signals that are in here that it's added that you had. It included a flood zone X. 67% of people are looking at flood zones across the United States. Talks about what's missing. And again, I kind of balance that between is it going to hurt? I mean, if my roof is 10 years old, I don't care that it's missing. I don't want to like shut it down. So sometimes I don't include it. You've got some other points about garage and carport. It checks for fair housing and gives you again the idea of overall, it was a 9.1 out of 10, which is strong. I'm going to say, can you give me a scorecard that compares the original I put in to this one and give me scores? Okay. So now it's going to go through, and this is what you're listing. When people are talking about how they're getting properties that haven't sold, or how their listings getting found, or how they're getting saves and all that, the original listing, as somebody mentioned, is not really written for AI. It's written for sometimes humans, but it totally is devoid on um, the technical part of getting it to show up, getting it in the early mover um, algorithm, and also buyers. The way to think about it is we look at that the buyers are looking at the listing is to sort of say, is it worth going further? And our pictures now become and our comments there the emotional part of the listing. So you can see most of these were fours, fives, sixes. The strongest was fair housing on both of them. And then it shows you by using Lisa, which took us a minute to get it up. And then it just gives you, again, some breakdown, some additional information. And if you're good with it, then all you need to do, and it'll work with you if you want more. But what you would do is you would take and copy all of this and you would plug it into your listing and you would just remove this optimized description part. What do you think of that, Carol?
I'm very impressed. It took seconds. Thank
Right?
you. Yes, absolutely. And it really, I'm anxious to see that will be done today,
Yeah.
sure. And then what about Cindy, then the staging? Is that as simple? I just go to I wrote all their, is, who does the staging? Vivian?
Vivian.
It'll be the same process and I just go in and tell her what I want then, right?
Yes, Vivian. Oh no, that's not the right Vivian. Hold on. Somebody else's Vivian. Explore my GPTs. I will like it when ChatGPT somehow lets me have a directory that can have everybody I need. Vivian. Why am I not seeing my Vivian? Dina, Alice, Rosie. Oh, load more because I have so many. Come on, let's go. Let's go. My load more. Okay. Okay. So one of the first things we do is to use twilight images, sometimes in the front, sometimes in the back, other places, because it's been shown to increase views by 76%.
Okay.
So, what it's going to ask you, this is where you see the difference between normal tools. It's going to ask you, like, what's the neighborhood, the price range, the overall style of the home, what's the layout. It's trying to get a vibe because it's programmed. It'll always give you options. So, never looking at a blank screen, right? So, farmhouse, coastal contemporary, or, so, and then it'll ask, are there any awkward workarounds, any of those kind of things. So it'll actually give you a prompt to then use in ChatGPT. So it'll take the image, but it'll use a prompt to create what you want. Let me see if I can find really quickly. I want you to see one we did in Hawaii. So Karen joined our group and we told it the listing price, like we were talking about this stuff. So here's what happened. This is a very awkward room in a $1.7 million home in Hawaii. And so we told it it's mid-century, it's multifamily, no curtains. And then they said warm contemporary, but we're open to a better design based on this style of home in Hawaii too. Let us know how we did. Well, it looked at the picture, it looked at the market strategy. We want buyers to think this is a legacy property. And then it said, actually, you're in the right, but instead of the generic warm contemporary, I would say island modern with a mid-century influence. And then it explained why it thought that. Every step of the way, you can push back and say what you want. You and I did that when we were doing Alex for your profile and your focus area. And then it'll ask you about layout. It is designed to not block doors and windows and change. It's not always perfect. Sometimes you have to run it again. It's going to tell you about what it's saying the buyer psychology is at this price point, right? So again, then it's actually giving you this whole prompt that you're going to plug in and say, create this image. So all you're going to do is say, create image, quote, and paste all of this. So you can see, Carol, I wouldn't be able to write all this myself. Like I don't even know. I just want to tell it what I want, and I want it to know that that's what I need it to do. So then we went down and this is where we posted it and said create the image. So we just did that post and hello. S- and this is what it came up with,
Nice.
which again fits Hawaii, fits the genre of the house, fits coastal elegance, but not, I mean, you can see they're very refined pieces of furniture. So you're not looking at some staging app that has its six pieces of, crazy disco ball, silver stuff and whatever. So again, like everything else that I've built, I always do it with you as the expert, telling it about the stuff people wouldn't even know and helping it, and then if you have a house, you can say, I'm going to do a series of rooms and help it with that, right? So does that help you understand more about that?
Absolutely, yes.
Good, good. Um, Let me just do real quickly, give a sneak peek to Atlas, our latest hero that we did just last night. Let me see. Okay. Let me just show you guys what we're talking about with Atlas, our newest one. This AI stuff is dangerous, in my opinion, because there's so many people. You could do 90% right. You could go listen to all the people, you can read all the stuff. I mean, the 10% wrong means you're not getting found. So it's really, some of that about what we're doing. So here's what we did. When you start Atlas, and one of the options, and I can show you from a start, but it said, help me identify the best questions I should ask in my market for my niche, because I want to create content that actually is going to get me cited for my focus area. So in Alex, we created a couple sentence positioning. So here's Jackie Griffins talks about that she sells to condo owners in Cocoa Beach. She's done over 2,000. We helped her define her own framework, my condo clarity method, which I can help each person do. So we went from there and said, okay, here's your angle. Here are 12 high authority questions for your niche. So these are the questions that sellers are asking. These are trust builders. These are authority positioning. Here's where your signature lane is. So it says, I'm going to give you 4 posts that create an authority culture cluster, a direct answer, a market insight, an experience insight, and decision guidance. So then what happens is you just pick one question. So we said, let's pick this question first. How do HOA fees impact a condo saleability in Cocoa Beach? It immediately writes for her the cluster of 4 different posts. So the way I like to think about it in a month, I would have every Monday's post done and they would have a theme. So over the course of a month, I would have, 4 different things that cluster and show that, but I don't have to do it 4 days in a row. I would pick a different question for the next day and then I would have my Tuesday questions. So here's where the magic happens for me. A lot of times, so you'll notice these all start with a question. They answer the stuff that AI is looking for the person they're going to recommend for these topics. So now we get 4 different perspectives on that topic. We get things to put into it as a quoted expertise. We know that these things help increase citations. We have data table ideas that add to it. You heard Petra talk about it. And then you have conversation starters for the post. But what it gives you is image prompts. And so this gave us a citation score of 9.4 out of 10. All she had to do was put in positioning and pick one of the 12 questions. That's how easy this was. The work was what you and I did, Carol, with Alex to get down to what are we going to focus on. That's why it's so important that we did that. So now look at this image that it created for her to go with that post in seconds.
Yes, yeah.
And so you give it your brand colors and it looks amazing. So for me, this part too, being able to add the image makes this whole process so much easier. How's that look?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Then you start going, hey, if you're doing about, I can't remember if you were Palmer Ranch or I can't remember where your focus was. I know, but like all of a sudden it's like you scroll stopping images, content that AI is looking for, and you're showing up. And so then from here, we easily can use this on LinkedIn, we can use it on Facebook, we can use it on other places. So, yeah, Candy says she had a seller who was in the business for 30 years and was pushing for fluffy descriptions. And she showed her the facts that this home and got this home under contract quickly. And he thinks she's super smart. Well, you are super smart. So, so yeah, so I appreciate you guys. I think that gives people that are new a kind of a tour around what we do. I think you saw people in the community and how we have just great people that are supportive of each other. We share what we learn. It's not just me. And if you have a question or need help, everybody's pitching in. And as we go to the next wave with the AI, what I'm finding as we did our specialties, many of us align and can help support each other. Because again, imagine like Candy and I or Jackie and I talking about different coasts and what's important about condos in Panama City Beach and what's important about Space Coast when I'm over here, in Indy Rocks Beach, Madeira Beach. So we actually have a microcosm of people who do similar things. Probate, we have Petra, we have Charlotte, we have Kim across the country. So these different things that we're going to also have some added advantages. And so obviously you can see we started with six assistants, um, and really a desire to, as I've always said, make it easy, practical, and profitable. And I just thank all of you guys for sharing that. We've been delivering on that promise and we'll continue to deliver. And we keep creating together on what we really need in our business. And while AI is moving at the speed of light and every day there are new announcements, you can be comfortable that I'm spending 2, 3, 4 hours um, looking at it, training in it. Last Sunday, I spent 7 hours with an individual who has been 40 years in the ad business. He's created 10 Super Bowl ads, learning and seeing about the video process when it's ready. Because the problem is that a lot of these things just cost you time and money, and they're not ready for us to get a result in our application. So we keep looking at, again, that what Petra's doing with market reports is something I'd like to dive deeper in because there are things that are going to get us a bigger bang for the buck and are going to get us more business. And so we're not here to focus on the shiny. I'm not here, you'll notice, to say the latest AI story that dropped. The AI things we're doing, the group agreed that I'm ahead. I've spent 6 months and I'm finding results, but we agree that we're figuring that out together. And sometimes there's a grace that says we'd rather not wait 6 more months for you to have it all proven. But pretty much everything in here is based on stuff I do in my business every day for myself as a full-time practicing realtor. And over the last few years, I've consistently been able to, have a $20 million business. So I'm sharing what works for me and I'm learning from you guys the same thing, what is working. And so that's the other part of it is, and the group will tell you, I'm completely transparent with my stats, with my work. And when we get into AI visibility, there ain't no emperor's new clothes. We're all going to be able to see everybody, right? So this is all, but we're already seeing it working. We're all excited, and we're also excited about doing it at a pace where we can like breathe, do it, make progress, and not overwhelm ourselves. And it's exciting to think that this is where we are in 3 months. And I'm excited to be taking this journey with those of you that have decided to jump into the community. And and so I just appreciate you. We do have onboarding calls every month because people voiced the concern that when they jump in, like Carol said, it can be a little overwhelming. So just want to break it down into bite size and show you around. We do have two specifically designed ways to have strategies to make money or save money in your business every month. And then we have Mondays and other Ask Me Anything. So if you specifically need help or are feeling stuck or want to go over something, there's always that time to do it. And so I think we've hit a perfect balance of people being able to get what they need and yet keep moving forward. So everybody's at their own pace, and yet everybody also, feels like they have permission to do that. So, with that, I want to say a huge thank you to all of my community members who showed up today to share a little bit about their journey. That's why I go to bed at 2 a.m. because I want to keep being sure that you are getting what you need. And I'm super grateful for the support and trust that you put into me from a new idea to where we're building it. And it's really, again, even for myself, gotten so valuable that I'm grateful for the opportunity because you guys help me keep on track for my business and keep it fun, that I'm not doing it alone either because I don't like working alone. I like I'm a solopreneur, or I have my husband, but I really like being able to I really like being able to do the work with you guys. So, all right, I'm gonna grab a couple of these comments.